everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we got a special build today. NVIDIA announced on their latest driver they've added beta support for GPU pass-through or GPU virtualization, and we're going to try it out. So on previous builds we've been using a workaround for this feature. Now that it's officially supported, let's see if we can do a build and do it all officially, I guess. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with a 650 power supply from Corsair. We might need to upgrade at some point. We'll see what it does. We've got a GTX 1070 Ti and a GTX 1070 for now, and the ROG STRIX B450 board with a Ryzen 5 3600. We've got 32 gig of RAM, DDR4. I think this is 3200. What else we got? We got a another FRACTAL MESHIFY C case. We got this one second hand off eBay, so we'll open it up and see what it looks like. This one's the tempered glass version, so it's similar to the white cases we did in the previous build videos. Keyboard and mouse, and we've got a few monitors just to test everything. So the plan is to basically build the machine, make sure it works. We have a disk already with ESXi on with the previous build, and to do a bit of a test just to make sure that works with the latest GeForce drivers and see what we get. See whether we can run some benchmarking. I have a number of these boards now. I really like the PCIe layout. We did a load of testing a year and a bit ago, so we bought a few more. They're really cheap compared to the B550 and the X570, and also we got these super cheap as well in a bulk purchase, so we can build a few machines around this. I think for this particular setup with the dual head gaming or dual cards or two CPUs, two players, I'm not quite sure what we're going to call it, we could probably do with at least the 3800 XT, 3950. This board supports the 5000 series CPUs, but like try getting a hold of one and they're super expensive, so we're not going to even entertain that for now. I remember when motherboards used to come with a mat to sit them on, and now they just come in a bag. So I'll leave it on the anti-static case for now. So we'll put the memory in first, just so that it's out of the way. So this is probably one of my favorite CPUs ever in existence, because the performance of it is comparable to a 5930K, which retailed for like £600 or something. For a while when I first started this project, they were about 300, 250. They eventually went down to 150. You can probably get them now for about 80 pounds. But these were 150 for the performance you get for them for a brand new chip with warranty. You can't beat it really. So I love these little things, and it comes with a cooler and everything else. So it's just plug and play. So we got the chip, the Ryzen 3600, Ryzen 5 3600. Yeah, this thing is awesome. Oh, we got a sticker as well. So we already got the paste. We're not going to mess with anything right now. We're just going to whack it in and let it go. Try not to drop it. Try to focus down there now. Alright, can't go there because it's going to bash on the memory. So I have to go that way around. Cool. So that's cooler on, CPU in. So, what do we need from here? We got the power supply, plug, some tasty sweets, just kidding. Dual PCIe. Actually, we could do a cable each, couldn't we? CPU. We just have one of those actually on this build. There's only one, and the motherboard, and then SATA. That's it. Maximum cables required. The 24 pin, and then the extra one on that side. We then also have the CPU. So just because of the layout of this thing, I'm going to try and keep them together so the GPUs are on this side and the CPUs on the other, but it doesn't really matter. Ooh. I want it to stand up. Oh, it sticks out. How did it stay the first time? Peripheral, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll run a cable each. We could probably run both of the cards off of the same cable. We'll use a cable each, and then we run less risk of overloading one of the cables, I guess. If we have the cables, we might as well use them. We've got the disc. This is actually from one of the other cases. I left it on the FRACTAL bracket because it's going in a FRACTAL case. So next step, we'll plug the 24 pin in, the CPU one, then goes out to this one. Whoa. And what I'll do is I'll put the 1070 in first. First power on test, we've got the graphics card in. All we could do is plug in a keyboard in. Final test, we're in, we've got the fan in, got the peripheral power in, got the graphics card. We missed out the graphics card power. Graphics card in, we're gonna have 2 USB controllers in here probably. We've got no extra fans. Yeah, all good. So let's turn the power on. Power switch. So they're both just going through the various startup cycles. I think the first boot takes forever. There we go. And then we got the white light. And hopefully we then see the BIOS. No? Green. There we go. I don't understand what it goes through, why it takes so long the first time around. Wait. No CPU installed? You're joking. Oh wait, new CPU. So yeah, I think the only thing that we need to change in here for ESXi, we need to enable virtualize, I can't remember what that is, CPU configuration, SVM mode. So does ESXi boot? And then we're going to need a laptop or something to connect to. Now, fire up the this laptop. So we just connect to the box. Yeah, all disabled. So what we'll do is we'll shut it down, put the other card in, and we'll enable pass-through, and then we'll do a test before we put it in the case. Put in the other card. We should probably get the USB controllers as well. So since we're setting up the PCIe pass-through, we also want to put in the 2 USB controllers, and basically we can, these are about £20 each. I'll put the link on Amazon to get hold of these. And we can pass the whole thing through to a virtual machine, which means we can plug a headset in or a keyboard or the racing wheel, and all of those devices just get access to that machine. For now, we'll just use it for mouse and keyboard, and it means we can just plug those in separately. Now we're in, yeah, and we have to plug this in. This is where it starts to get messy. Yeah. First thing we have to do is go into the web interface for ESXi and assign all the devices. This crazy unhandled exception because I pressed enter. So we go through to manage hardware, PCIe devices or PCI devices, select the device and then click toggle pass through. So we can take a bunch of them actually. So we'll take the other Etron and then the 2 GPUs, toggle pass through. So now we'll reboot. So actually nothing happens right now, we just get the black screen. So it was working, it was just the second monitor. Hopefully the keyboard and mouse works. Yes. So make this the primary monitor. We're passing through 6 CPUs apparently. It's easier using this machine to connect to the other machine. So now we're going to look at 102 and we need to edit this the same. It's almost got the right configuration. Again, just blat all of the PCI config, let it save, go back in, add another device, PCI, add 3 more devices. So now we're going to pick the 1070 Ti and then the second Etron controller. Cool, so now we can play, copied it. So then we should see the other screen. Pick up, and we'll just have to go through the same config for that as well. Getting devices ready. I think the last card that was in here was maybe, no, surely it was a GTX. I can't remember. We was trying out an AMD thing. Radeon 5700. So as you can see, this actually works. We haven't tried the new driver yet because we already have the workaround in here. So yeah, we could try the new driver on this second machine, the second VM. It was. Oh, this is probably not set up for bloody DVI, is it? DisplayPort. Cool. Another bloody keyboard. So what I'm going to do on the second machine is just download the driver and the latest driver and just see what happens. Actually, we could maybe do some performance testing to see whether it makes any difference, whether they gimp the performance or anything. Gimp. Carefully plug this in. Get the USB to It's fine if they come out. Cool, so that worked. So what we can do on here is, how did you know? This is the bit that we're after. Includes beta support for virtualization on GeForce GPUs. Yay! Cool. So let's try it out. Okay, so there are a few software things to figure out. What we're going to do next is open the FRACTAL MESHIFY case and see what state it's in, and move everything over to that. Oh. So this case is second hand. It was about 20-30 quid cheaper than the brand new ones were. It's a bit shoddily done. It's the first black one I've had, actually. The first one with tempered glass as well, not the see-through glass and white ones. And it's practically brand new, although, yeah, no, it's practically brand new. So that was a good deal. No scratches. Even the plastic still on there. So that was a good buy. It's even still got the peel on it. Everything's brand new. No GeForce experience, thank you very much. So the other screen's not come back on, so I assume... Oh no, wait, there we go. So I didn't set up VNC or any of that other stuff, just because we're literally pissing into the wind. Time spy, benchmarks, yeah, we'll just install that one for now. Did it crash it? What are you doing? No, it worked. It's just restarting or something. So this is the new driver. It's obviously not complained yet. I'm going to do a test first before I disable the workaround. Cool. So 1, 2, 3, run. Well, at least the PSU isn't complaining, i.e. by restarting. Like a one starts slightly faster than the other. One's, yeah, this is the 1070 though. The 1070 Ti is taking longer. Interesting. So this is just a Ryzen 5 3600, 6 cores, running 2 virtual machines. Like, to be fair, it's a 1070 and a 1070 Ti attached to it, but it's running 2 complete gaming systems. I don't know whether you guys can hear it. It doesn't sound that much louder than what it was doing to idle. Oh, it's starting to ramp up the fan now. Cool. So the test finished. We only got a score of 6,000. Why did this one only get a score of 5,000? It's interesting, isn't it? Is it just a different version of graphics score? Oh no, it's a different thing, isn't it? So they both got similar CPU scores-ish, 3,800 and then 3,300. The 1070 got a less score than the 1070 Ti, obviously. Yeah, so in terms of what the CPU was doing, we were getting close and then kind of hit the limit, which kind of I feel like is not too bad. The fact that we were pretty close. Yeah, when we went over a bit there, that's not ideal, but I mean we're full on stressing 2 of them. So yeah, so what we're going to do is shut it all down and migrate it to the case, and then we can stand it up and not take up so much bloody room on the desk. We'll whack the board in first. It's got the I/O shield already on there. We don't have to forget that. So one of the things I really liked about this board, and in particular the ROG STRIX B450 Gaming 1 board, is the layout of these slots. So when we did the test, you saw that I had a GPU occupying these 2 spaces, a GPU occupying this space, and that leaves room to be able to have the 2 USB 3 controllers here. We do actually get this ×4 slot as well that we can potentially use. I think this might actually run in ×1 when you use these, and it's only 4 if you use it on its own. So there's basically 4 lanes, and once you use these ×1 slots, you actually split these into ×1 lanes instead. But what they did in the latest version of this board is I think they moved this moved it up 1 slot. You can have the first USB controller, a graphics card, but now they've moved that. There isn't the next GPU takes up this slot, so this one's now under the graphics card. You could, I suppose, use this slot instead, which we're using, but you now lose access to two of the slots instead, which seemed a little bit silly. I don't know what the rationale behind moving it over there was. It just seems irritating. On a lot of the B550 and X570 boards, they seem to have swapped these around, or this doesn't exist, and there's just less PCIe lanes. So one of the reasons why I stuck with the B450 for now, just because it gives us that flexibility and seems to line up with those generations of cards. So we should do all the power stuff first. I'm not sure about this design. I guess it keeps everything nice and clean. There is that. But it's a little bit painful having to deal with this, sliding everything in this way around. The tidiness factor is great. It just makes maintenance a little bit more irritating. So yeah, we just get all the cables in and ram these through. It's just painful to try and access these ports on the PSU. Like, it's painful anyway, even without this design. But trying to do it from inside here is just a million times worse. So that's everything hooked up. We can kind of squish everything in now. And that's the cool thing about having machines with the same case. Everything just can be moved around. So, what are you doing? Right, so I think that's it. I think everything's in there. Plug it back in and see. So they've got the same start time. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, go. So we've got about 150, 130, 150, 150. They're about the same, to be fair. Super! So it's about the middle of the curve, I guess. It's not the same as a gaming PC for 2020. And I think probably that's mainly down to the GPU. We're well over the required frame rate for VR, as we are on this side as well. Pretty much the same result. So that's a win. So I guess the next test is to get Project Cars 2 on here, which takes like 50 million years to download and run. So we'll do that next time. Okay, so the last part of the test is when everything works with the workaround on, we need to disable all that so that the VM thinks it's a VM to just prove that the new driver works fine. So we'll shut down. We'll do Windows updates. Like every time you restart a computer, you got the Windows update. Just let that restart to make sure we know that it's Windows that's not broken anything. So we can shut down now. Oh, just shut down. So I want to go into settings, edit, VM options, advanced, edit configuration, and there's this option here, hypervisor, CPU ID, V0, false. And now change that to true, save, and start it up again. And hopefully what we see is it start up, it knows it's a VM, and the graphics driver still works. And we'll run the VRMark again just to see what score we get. And hopefully this whole hiding from virtualization idea should yay, awesome, it works. Oh, give over. Although it thinks it's another display again. So we're on to, it's very strange, isn't it, how it's lost the driver settings. So hopefully now I'm going to Task Manager, we can see that this is a virtual machine and it's got virtual processors and everything's virtual. And it continues to work. So we'll do VRMark again. Right, benchmark. See how it does on its own. So this is the 1070 Ti as well. Full reign over the system. 220 frames a second. Why is it getting more frames a second? So obviously there's some CPU constraints there. That's all right. 230. Cool. So that's pretty good. We're probably going to get a better score, like 10,000 or something for that one. Yeah, 10,000. Super cool. Average frame rate. So actually, we're not doing too bad. I think it's to do with the CPU constraints. Of obviously we're using quite a lot of CPU. Let's just try that again. We'll do both at the same. Actually, we'll just do this side on its own this time. So we're only getting about 200 frames a second on the left, but that's only a 1070. Cool. So that nearly got the highest score. So we'll do it again with both, and we'll see 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, slightly slower on one side. Yeah, so that brings them down a little bit. So they're obviously fighting over CPU. 9. It's pretty good. Score's not too different. So that was really good. Thank you, NVIDIA, for enabling that. Thank you for enabling something that is already possible. More like, thank you, NVIDIA, for giving us the green light to be able to do what we were doing before in an official way. It's not supported, but it's kind of supported, or support is coming, which is good. But yeah, really good. Really pleased that that's something that we can do officially now, not have to have the quadro cards. We were looking at the RTX 4000, which is like £800 second hand, nearly 1,000, and it's only really as good as a 1070, maybe a 2060 Super or a 2070. So what we'll do with that build is we're going to use it on this setup behind me where we have 2 racing seats, and what we're going to have is 2 setups of Project Cars 2. People can go head to head in a head-to-head match. One of the things we wanted this machine for is that we just have a single machine. So when we go to an event or we do a demo or we want to go to show it off somewhere else or do an installation, we just have one box to bring and we can put 2 seats next to it, and there's less things to set up. Thank you for coming along the journey with us, and remember, if you like this video, to hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do. And if you want to see more cool videos like this, remember to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.